Hi guys, welcome back to the Ed Recovery Blog YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about recovery resolutions. So the first part of the video is going to be talking about some ideas for resolutions that you can set for yourself this year. And the second part of the video is going to explain how you can keep these resolutions and just some tips that might help you to be able to succeed a little bit more in keeping them throughout the year. So our first idea for a resolution is to go out to eat a certain number of times per week. Eating out in recovery can be a big challenge, and so setting a number of times that you can do this per week can really help you to give you a tangible goal that you can set for yourself, that every week I'm gonna try to at least go out to eat once, and that's gonna help me a little bit more in my recovery. Kind of like the last one is trying a fear food once a week, or however many times a week that you'd like to try. This is another thing that is great because it's more tangible if you set a specific number, but it's also something that can really help you in recovery and to help you to move past those fear foods that you had in your eating disorder. Another one is to try cutting out your exercise. This can be that you want to cut down or you want to completely eliminate, depending on your specific needs for your recovery. You can speak with your therapist or your treatment team about this on what the best path is for you, but that can be something that's another great goal to accomplish in 2020. Another idea is to not check your weight. Depending on how often you do this, this can be something that's really difficult for people to do, but it can be so helpful to just not know what your weight is and really get to a point where you don't know what it is at all. But if you need to kind of wean off it or whatever you need to do to decrease the amount of times that you do it, you can try it that way also. Another resolution idea is to get rid of your scale. This can be super hard, but definitely effective in your recovery, because if you have a scale with you all the time, it's going to be a lot easier for you to weigh yourself and to be able to always be obsessing about your weight, which is not something that you want to do. And then the final two resolution ideas are to go to therapy a certain number of times a month, or to go to a dietitian a certain number of times a month. If this depends on what you're able to afford and what works well with your insurance if you have any. And so that's definitely something that you can try to figure out based on your own needs, but it can be great to set those kind of goals so that way you're getting all of the support and the help that you need in your recovery throughout the year. So our tips for keeping these resolutions. The first tip is to keep your recovery mindset. We actually have an entire video on this that we will link down below. And keeping a recovery mindset is just basically keeping recovery at the forefront of your mind and doing everything that you do in your life with the idea that you need to put your recovery first, because your health and your recovery are really the most important things for you when you are struggling with an eating disorder. Our second tip is to use things to keep you motivated. You can give yourself little prizes or treat yourself to some kind of item that you really like, or a shopping spree if you complete one of your resolutions throughout the year, or if you stick to it for a few months, or however you'd like to do that. Our third tip is to set tangible and trackable goals. This is really great for any type of resolution, but especially in recovery, it can be kind of hard to track how your progress is, because it's not a very strict progress that you make. It's a journey that you go through. And so if you're able to make trackable goals, such as I'm gonna go to therapy twice a month, that is something that you can track and that you can make sure that you're keeping up with. And then our last tip is to check in with your resolutions a few times throughout the year instead of just doing it at the beginning of the year and then at the end. And you can do this by the quarter system, so the 4 quarters of the year. And this can be super helpful just to make sure that you are keeping on track with your goals and not to wait until the very end of the year to realize that you haven't necessarily met them the way that you wanted to. So those are all of our tips that we have for the recovery resolutions. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!